Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Friday Focus, a program in which I apply the principles of Structural Valuation Analysis, or SVA, to both stocks and bonds. Up till now, we analyzed stocks, but today I'm going to take a look at how we should be analyzing debt. And I'm going to take a look at how the credit raters should be rating sovereign debt, and in particular, the sovereign debt of the United States. Now, the reason that this came to mind is because very recently, Moody's, a credit rating service in the United States, decided to join the other credit rating services, including Standard & Poor's, in downgrading the U.S. sovereign debt from AAA to AA1. And Donald Trump apparently was incensed by that and castigated Moody's, I guess, for being un-American or something along that kind of a line. I thought about that, and then I thought to myself, well, okay, what is it that the credit raters should actually be rating? And there are two things that they could be rating. The first one, from a sovereign debt point of view, is the ability of the country to raise additional debt. That really ties in with this thing called modern monetary theory, which simply says as long as you can raise more debt, then your debt is in effect AAA. But there's another way of looking at rating debt, and that is when you repay it, are you going to be repaying the debt in equivalent purchasing power, or is the purchasing power of that debt going to be diminished and greatly diminished? When we look at the value of sovereign debt, what we do is we analyze the GDP to debt ratio, and that gives rise to this curve here, which is the marginal productivity of debt. In other words, how much additional value does the economy generate per additional dollar of debt? Well, as it transpires, when the debt to GDP ratio reaches a level which we identify as 0.289, or $3.50 of debt per dollar of GDP, the marginal productivity of debt falls to zero. And that's what I call the black hole condition sets in, because when you go lower than that, then what happens is that GDP generation starts to turn negative. The concomitant side of that is that means that the value of the currency starts to fall, and therefore inflation starts to become endemic. Now, one of the ways that we can actually ascertain if this is happening is by looking at the price of gold, which is essentially a rebuke to whoever the sovereign power is. The purchasing power of that debt is declining now. Well, if the purchasing power is declining, what kind of a credit rating should the credit raters assign to the debt of such a country? And of course, right now I'm talking about the United States. And that is the big open question which I leave in your hands. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this week's Friday Focus, and I will see you next Friday.